I'm going to kick us off today with a stereotypical scumbag move from CNN. We had a host, Jake Tapper, yesterday call out a veteran, newly elected, a U.S. military veteran, newly elected congressman, who, of course, everyone is given a chance to speak during the impeachment proceedings and during most business in the Congress. They get their minute to say their piece. Normally, it's pretty repetitive. One side says one thing all day, and one side says the other thing all day long. Sure. But unfortunately,
it's kind of like WJ Live, actually. We say we do the same thing. Yeah.
The same thing over and over again, of course.
Way to encourage subscription.
And so yesterday, unfortunately, Jake Tapper on CNN decided to make a remark about one of the Republican congressmen who was speaking, essentially saying that because he had supported efforts to at least he had been so bold as to ask questions about the integrity of the 2020 election, just as Republicans have done, as Democrats have done for the last 4 years since 2016, and as Americans have done with regard to democratic elections for all time. There's always questions about whether or not there has been, fraud, and we can come down on different sides of that. But to just ask the question provoked this remark that we're going to show you guys at home from Jake Tapper about the congressman.
One other thing, that's relevant. What you're saying right now is relevant because Congressman Brian Mast, a Republican from Florida, who lost his legs, by the way, fighting for democracy abroad, although I don't know about his commitment to it here in the United States.
Unbelievable statement. For those who didn't get that or maybe a little bit surprised, that statement was from Tapper. Congressman Brian Mast, a Republican from Florida, who lost his legs, by the way, fighting for democracy abroad, although I don't know about his commitment to it here in the United States. A disgusting statement, clearly.
A ridiculous statement. It's just ridiculous.
Completely unnecessary, completely out of the blue. It's one of those things where you kind of see where people can get carried away when they're arguing with someone and when they're fighting with someone. This was completely unprovoked, out of nowhere on national television from a news host, and so they've kind of volleyed back and forth.
News?
Yes, news host.
Yeah, CNN. So he's a news host,
and so they've kind of lobbed bombs back and forth on Twitter since yesterday, with Mast responding, I lost 2 legs for Jake Tapper's right to say whatever the hell he wants, but that free speech also protects the Republicans he is so eager to condemn for asking constitutional questions about the election. Valid statement. Doesn't even ask for an apology, which he has not gotten. In fact, we're going to show you another tweet in a second here. Jake Tapper instead doubled down on those remarks this morning. Representative Brian Mast, you're a hero for your service, and I'm grateful, as I've said before. And yes, I question the commitment to democracy of anyone who spread election lies, signed on to that deranged Texas AG lawsuit, and voted to commit sedition. You were not just asking questions. No apology, no backpedal whatsoever on those rude remarks. And it just kind of leads me to ask, because I, for one, have actually spoken about this on the show, and I know conservatives have railed about this in the past. We've heard all about Donald Trump's rude remarks for the last 4 years. In particular, we have had one set of remarks held against this president since the election trail in 2015, remarks about John McCain not being a war hero because he was captured. Now, I, for one, thought those remarks were ridiculous. They never received an apology from the president, though they should have. We've spoken about that before. We've spoken as well about I believe it was The Atlantic over the last campaign trail, reported from anonymous sources that Donald Trump had made disparaging remarks about dead veterans of the Second World War in Europe on a visit over last year. It might have been Veterans Day or Memorial Day. I'm not 100% certain, so don't check me on that. But what I want to know, I guess, is does the media think that we're that the audience is stupid? We saw day in and day out for a week that this was front page news when Donald Trump, anonymous sources that we could not confirm, said that he said these things. That was front page news.
In fact, there's an awful lot of evidence that he did not say
Yes.
it. Yeah.
On the campaign trail, front page news to completely derail him and, again, make him look bad. Sometimes he lends himself to it. But we don't know about those remarks. How is it that this is not a major story today? Well, do they really think we're stupid?
Well, you got a couple options there. One, yes. The answer to that question is yes. CNN, the media elite, the establishment elite in general, do in fact think we're stupid. That's kind of, the defining characteristic of elitism. They think that they know better than we do. And don't for a second think that this is an accident. Don't think that this is some kind of fluke. If I'm not mistaken, Jake Tapper's show just got extended from an hour to 2 hours on CNN because CNN likes this kind of comment. This is who CNN is, and it's who they believe we are. It's who they believe you are. It is who CNN believes the thinking American public is. So, yeah, to answer your question, do they think we're stupid? Yep.
I mean,
yes, they absolutely 100% they think we're stupid.
I mean, just to piggyback off of that, I mean, we also saw, what was it, last week, that we saw Anderson Cooper on CNN say that, all the Trump supporters who committed sedition on the Capitol, that's not my words, those are his words, that, on all those people who stormed the Capitol, they're going back to their Olive Garden restaurant and, whatever hotel, like low-class hotel.
Yeah, sedition, because Tapper used sedition as well in his second tweet there. It's so ridiculous. We have a process that is outlined in part in the Constitution, in part by law, that this is how members of Congress represent their opposition or their concerns about the integrity of electoral college voting. And what Tapper is saying, literally what he's saying is people who follow the process defined by the Constitution and by law passed by Congress are guilty of sedition.